about like discipline or, setting rules, you usually expect it to apply to the people in your immediate circle.
Right, like your house, your rules.
Exactly. But the source material for today's deep dive completely shatters those boundaries. We're digging into a set of 7-step QT notes dated July 22, 2026, alongside a translated passage from the ancient book of Ezekiel, specifically chapter 28.
Yeah, and our mission today is to see how these ancient geopolitical judgments actually connect to, a modern sense of perseverance and global purpose for you today.
Okay, let's unpack this, because the scene Ezekiel paints here is, it's incredibly hard.
Very harsh, yeah.
We're talking about a decree of pestilence, blood, and swords against Sidon, which was, a completely foreign nation.
Right.
So reading this, I'm stuck on the jurisdiction. Why is the God of Israel focusing this intense judgment on a neighboring country?
It's a really great question.
It feels like, a strict high school principal marching over to an entirely different school district to hand out detention just to make a point to the neighborhood.
What's fascinating here is that, to an ancient reader, that jurisdictional overreach would be exactly the point.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because in the ancient Near East, deities were almost universally viewed as strictly regional. You had, like, a god of this city, a god of that valley.
Like a local jurisdiction.
Right, exactly. But Ezekiel uses one specific phrase 4 times in just a few short verses, and actually 54 times across the whole book.
Wait, 54 times? Which phrase?
They will know that I am the Lord. So the text is making this radical claim about global universal authority, completely bypassing those expected regional boundaries.
So it's fundamentally a massive turf claim.
Yes, exactly.
The text is arguing that he's the creator of the entire universe, not just some localized regional deity. But why Sidon? Like, why target the neighbors?
Well, the notes highlight a very specific restorative mechanic for Israel here. Sidon and other contemptuous neighbors are actually described as briers and thorns.
Oh.
So if you're trying to cultivate a garden, the plants really can't thrive if they're constantly being choked out, or, if you're getting pricked every time you try to tend them.
Right, you have to pull the weeds so the crops can grow.
Exactly, that principle. The argument the text makes is that by dealing with these external thorns, the internal conditions for peace are created.
Wow, that makes sense.
Yeah, so Israel is finally able to gather, build houses, plant vineyards, and just, dwell securely.
And if that ultimate ancient goal was simply universal recognition, just making the name known regardless of the immediate audience's reaction, that completely shifts how we might measure success today.
It really does.
Which explains the modern reflection these 7-step QT notes pivot to. Yeah. The author tells the story of a street evangelist out on a sidewalk shouting the gospel.
Yeah, that story's intense.
Right. The reaction is brutal. People complain he's too loud. They're spitting at him. Someone even calls the police.
Yeah.
And honestly, reading that, doesn't that just seem like terrible marketing?
It definitely looks like a failed PR campaign from the outside. For sure.
Right. Like, if you are actively alienating the exact people you are trying to reach, isn't that totally counterproductive?
If we connect this to the bigger picture,
we
have to look at the theological framework the notes are presenting here.
Okay.
The notes explore this psychological shift that happens when you decouple your self-worth from external validation.
Right.
When people asked this evangelist why he kept going despite all that intense hostility, he explained that his joy just wasn't tied to his conversion rates.
Wait, but isn't the entire point of evangelism to actually reach people? Like, not just check a box that you yelled at a crowd on a Tuesday?
Well, the author's argument is that God loves the entire world, not just a specific group like Christians or Jews.
Oh, I see.
Because of that, the internal logic of the text suggests God receives glory simply by the message being proclaimed, even among those who vehemently oppose it.
Just like with ancient Sidon.
Exactly like Sidon.
So the act of proclaiming is the victory itself. The outcome, or like the reception, isn't actually the burden of the messenger.
Right. The success metric becomes obedience to the mission, not controlling how the world reacts to it.
So what does this all mean? Like, for you, listening right now, these notes actually pose a very direct challenge.
They really do.
They ask you to look at your own life and consider, where are you most tempted to hide your core beliefs just to avoid criticism or, social friction? And
the core application the author leads us with is a call not to avoid or ignore the world.
Right.
It's an encouragement to engage with the people around you naturally and lovingly, but, without being paralyzed by the fear of pushback.
Which brings us right back to that strict principle we talked about at the beginning, stepping way out of bounds to send a message to the whole neighborhood.
It really comes full circle.
Yeah. If both those ancient dramatic judgments and these modern, messy sidewalk confrontations share the exact same simple goal of just making a name known, it makes you wonder. If you view your own personal rejections as a marker of a completed mission rather than a measure of failure, how does that change the way you confidently walk through the world today?